there, you beautiful human, and welcome to your yoga practice. I am Andrea Dawn, and today we will be making our way through a practice all about manifesting your desires. So let's get started. We'll come to a comfortable seat. Once you arrive in that seat, align your ears over your shoulders, over your hips. And then we will take prana mudra today. So for our prana mudra, prana is our life force, our subtle energy. It resides within each and every one of us. And what we'll do is connect the thumb to the ring and the pinky fingers. The peace fingers will be extended. And then you can bring palms face up. Find a soft smile on your lips. Relax your shoulders, relax your brow. Take a soft downward gaze, maybe even close the eyes and arrive. Here I am, here you are. And let's just take a moment to talk about manifestation. There's so much information all about manifesting our dreams. But what I want to talk about today is that what we need to do is tap and tune into the energy of our desires. So when we are in that grasping, wanting, needing, hoping, and we kind of are thinking about what we don't have, we end up being and residing in a place of lack. Then that attracts more lack to us because we are focused on what we don't want rather than what we do want. So what I want us to do today is decide whatever it is that we desire. We're going to make that the intention of our practice. So what is it that you desire? And there's no shame or guilt around having a desire. We're just going to be clear about what that desire is. Now that you've come to that desire, I want you to pull up a visualization of it. It could be anything. It could be a car that you want. It could be a relationship that you desire. It could be a property that you'd like to invest in. And then we're going to dive a little deeper behind that desire and what is the feeling of it. So I know for me, I have desired a property in a foreign country and designing and creating a yoga retreat space. But I want to get to the feeling behind that. What is it that I'm really wanting to feel? And that is a sense of freedom, community, creativity, innovation. So I want to get clear about those feelings so that I can recognize that I already experienced those feelings in my life, and now I can become more aware of those feelings. The more I'm tapped in and tuned into the energy that I want to get more of, the more I will receive of it, because I am attuning myself to the vibration of what it is that I desire and recognizing with gratitude that I do already have it. So let's bring those feelings to the forefront. Maybe you pick just one or two of them. You know, like I said, words like community, freedom, creativity. And we will bring an Om to those feelings. So remember that Om is universal consciousness. So we are aligning ourselves with that. You're welcome to join me or simply receive. If you're joining, inhale. Flutter your eyes open, release your prana mudra, circle out your wrists. And let's start today in the child's pose. So all throughout the practice, you get to come back to those feelings that you're desiring. Every time your mind starts to wander, you can bring it back to the breath and maybe one or two of those words. Freedom, community, creativity. You might even start to notice during your daily life when you do experience those feelings, first saying thank you for letting me experience this, and where do you feel it in your physical body? Is there a specific place? And our practice helps us become more aware of those subtleties in our body and our prana flow. Walk your hands over towards the right. So knowing this, you can use any practice to help with your manifestation. Just being clear and continually coming back to whatever it is that you desire to feel. We don't have to shun the other feelings. We can be grateful that we have them, because without that opposition, without that contradiction, we wouldn't know otherwise. Or we wouldn't be able to have such great appreciation for when we do feel joy and ease and peace, because we have felt suffering and hardship and heartache. Good. Then walk your hands back through center. We'll come up onto the forearms and then up onto the hands. So we're on hands and knees, even tabletop position. Then from there, extend the right arm forward and just slowly start to sink the hips back. I'm also dropping my left forearm down to the ground as I reach my right arm forward. Then extend your left leg back behind you. Press the heel back. Then you can start to let your heart and chest sink down. So it's kind of like a half puppy dog. Your breath is your life force, so tune into that. I like to compare our practice to like one of those old school dials where we're kind of searching around all that static and fuzz to find clarity. And then we'll come on up out of that and we'll just switch sides so you can come back to all fours. Extend the left arm forward. Start to lower down as you sink the hips back. The right forearm will come down, and this time you'll extend the right leg back behind you. Our practice gives us more awareness to our mind's tendencies. And we can note whether it is that those have been programmed in by us and they're of our choosing, or they've been programmed in by maybe family, society, previous lifetimes, and they're not actually helpful and we're going to change them. All right, then let's come back to all fours, even tabletop position. This time we'll go into a full puppy dog pose. So you'll walk both hands out in front of you, sink the hips back a little bit, but keep them pretty much over the knees. And then you can rest the forearms down and let the chest fall. Come on forward to your forearms and walk your legs back behind you so you lower down onto your belly. Shoulders over the elbows, so we're in our Sphinx pose. Press the tops of your feet down, press your pubic bone down. Keep the back of your neck long. Draw your armpits down and slightly together onto the back. Now, press down through your finger pads, and I want us to try two different things here. We're going to press down and forward and away, and then down and back in towards you, like you're trying to drag the mat in towards you. And I want you to just feel into your spine and notice if either of those adds a little bit of traction that makes you feel like you're extending or lengthening your spine. The answer can be, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what I'm feeling. That's why we practice. And release the expectation that it's supposed to feel a certain way so that we get to have the brand new experience of the posture being exactly as it is on that day with the way that my body is. All right, now I'm going to lower all the way down and walk the hands out with tented fingers wide. Right? So my tented fingers are in line with my chest. Press down through the tops of the feet and the pubic bone. Now find a lift. So think about lifting from where your bra strap would be. If you're a girl, if you're a guy, imagine where a bra strap would be and lift from there. And then we're going to dip the shoulders in towards the midline and then back, and then the other one. So from side to side, moving with your breath. The breath is the initiator, the breath is the driver of the movement. That link, that bridge is part of our unification, our yoking of what is yoga. Nice. Now let's come back to bring the hands to chest level. Press up to all fours. And then once again, we're going to come back down onto the forearms and just take a little variation of our cat-cow here. So shoulders are over elbows, and traditional cat-cow, but we're on our forearms. So you'll tilt the tail, drop the belly, lift through the heart and chest, lift the head, maybe even lift the lower jaw over the upper jaw, and then point the tail down. Round the spine, let the head fall heavy. 2 more rounds like that. Now we're going to come into our dolphin pose. So with our forearms down, tuck your toes and start to pike your hips up. You might need to walk your feet in a little bit. Feet are about 2 fists width distance. Heels pressing back and down toward the outer corners of the mat. Press down, grip through your finger pads, push through your forearms. Breathe steady. Good, now let's walk the feet out to forearm plank. So just firing up the core a little bit, coming into our forearm plank position. Lift the belly button up towards the spine. Draw the armpits slightly back towards the hip. Keep the back of your neck long. Engage the quads. Press your heels back. Lift through your hamstrings for another 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Drop your knees. Toes together, knees out wide, wide leg child's pose. Then take your hands, walk them behind you, clasp your hands behind you. Let your forehead rest down. And then maybe even lift your held hands away from the low back. Notice which way you clasped your hands, right? So there's a way we just do things without thinking about them. So those are the things that we're becoming aware of in our practice. Those tend to cause imbalances. So maybe now every time I clasp my hands, since I normally do my left thumb over my right, I'm going to think about trying to do my right thumb over my left and becoming familiar with something that's unfamiliar. Good, then release that. Come on forward back to all fours. Extend the right leg back behind you in the air. Circle out the ankle. Strong core body, hips level. Other direction. Good, now step the right foot outside of the right hand. So we're coming into a lizard pose. Scoot the left knee back. Lots of options in our lizard pose. This is one of my favorite places to explore and play. It could be that you're staying right where you are. Could be that you're coming onto the outer blade edge of the right foot, the knees dropping out towards the side. It could be that you're adding a twist. Could be that you're coming onto forearms. Could be that you're working into some wrist stretches. And then once you make a choice of where you're going to be, come back to your feeling. What is it that you're wanting to feel more of? Is it possible to even feel that feeling in this moment? Because if we're not aware of joy now, we won't be aware of joy whenever that thing comes to be. Because we think we want the thing, but we really want the feeling of the thing. So if I've moved to Guatemala, created the retreat center, and then it's all about the next thing, I haven't developed the ability to experience the joy now. So it doesn't matter how many things I get or create, I still won't know how to experience the feeling of joy. All right, we're gonna come on up out of that. So heel toe this right foot in towards the midline. So now you're framing out the right foot. And then tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, and start to straighten the right leg. Then maybe lift the toes and reach the toes back in towards you. And then we'll set the foot back down, drop the left knee down. And then we'll just move back and forth like that with our breath. Next time that the left knee is down, keep it down, kickstand it, windmill the arms up. So we're going to go into a side stretch here. Flip your right palm to the sky, extend your right leg out long. Tent the left fingers, bring them down. Reach the right arm overhead. Give 2 circles in the forward direction, 2 circles in the backwards direction. And then next time you're going around, bend the elbow, place the hand behind the back. Pause and breathe. Now you might stay right here, might be plenty of sensation, or you might lift the right leg. If you're choosing to lift the right leg, maybe you do some leg lifts here using inner thigh strength for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg back down, reach the right arm back overhead. Then we're going to use that for a little bit of momentum to lift us back up. Windmill the arms forward, right knee back to meet left. And we'll repeat that same sequence on the other side. So step the left foot outside of the left hand, lizard pose, other side. And as much as we want to do the same thing on both sides, right? Like we want that equanimity. To have that equanimity might mean we're doing different things on different sides. So it might mean that during my practice, I discover my left side, for the most part, is way more constricted than my right side. So I actually have to spend more time on the left side holding things than I do on the right side. Now, this might not be possible in a practice where we're practicing together, but you now have that information to take with you when you're practicing on your own. So to create equanimity, I actually have to do different things on different sides of my body. Come back to that feeling. You are the magnet of that feeling. You could even add the I am statement, an affirmation or a mantra to whatever that feeling is. I am freedom, I am freedom, I am freedom, I am creativity, I am creativity, I am creativity. So I become like a lighthouse in the dark for that. And you can then substitute that mantra for when you see your mind take on dialogue that's either not your own, not helpful, or coming from like some programming that you don't actually agree with. So when I start the judging, when I start the comparing, when I start the liking and the disliking, then I get to notice and I get to bring, I am creativity, I am creativity, I am creativity. All right, now we're gonna heel toe the left foot into the midline, frame out the foot, tuck the right toes, lift the right knee, start to straighten the left leg, and then pop up onto the heel so you're lifting the toes back in towards you. You'll drop the knee back down, and we'll just work that flow. Moving with your breath. You can add the mantra to your breath. So maybe the inhale is I am, and the exhale is whatever your word is. You know, this is part of being the creator of your reality. So how are you doing that? You do that with your thoughts and your words and your actions. All right, next time the right knee is down, we'll kickstand the right knee, windmill the arms up. From here, we will extend the left leg long, tent the right fingers, bring the right hand down. 2 forward circles with the left arm, 2 backward circles. And then on the third circle, you'll bend the elbow, place the hand behind the back, where you might hold, or you might lift the left leg. You might do some leg lifts. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Lift yourself up, windmill the arms forward, frame out the left foot. We're going to heel toe the left foot more over towards the left, tuck the right toes, step the right foot up. So now my feet are wide, heels are on the mat, toes are pointed off the mat on an angle. Sit the bum down, low yogic squat or malasana. Bum down, heart and chest up, elbows aiding. So I'm using the elbows to open the knees and noticing that all my weight's coming to the inner blade edges of my feet, seeing if I can push down to the outer blade edges of my feet. Soften the brow, soften the jaw. Here I am, here you are. The only place to be. This is the only place that feeling can exist. It can exist in the past and it can exist in the future. So we get to learn how to feel it right now. This is the place that our life exists. So this day always gets to be the best day of your life. All right, let's plant the hands, lift the hips, heel toe the feet in. Good, now step the left foot back. And we're gonna come up into a high crescent lunge. So my feet are on separate tracks, strong scissoring action of the legs, rise yourself up. So notice if you're leaning forward, that often tends to happen. So we wanna see if we can create this right angle between the lower body and the upper body. Now we're gonna use some balance and side bend. So the right arm's gonna go down the right side body as you lean over towards the right. So what do you have to do with your right foot? And how do you have to think about pressing down either inwards or outwards? And then we're gonna go to the other side. So this one might be a little bit more tricky. Left arm comes down, right arm overhead. So this time I'm really having to push down and press outwards to keep that balance. Back through center, both hands up to high prayer. Now straighten both legs, turn the right foot in, turn the left foot towards the back of your mat. Level hips. Take the hands behind the back. Starting with level hips, I'm gonna then think about tilting the hips. So I'm gonna tilt the hips towards the back of the mat. My left hip lowers as my right lifts into triangle pose or trikonasana. So I like this variation where the hands are behind the back because it really helps me feel my core body and keep this opening. And also keep a lift in the left side body. So sometimes we get caught up in wanting to have this left hand down or grabbing the big toe. And there's nothing wrong with that. But also, if we get caught up in the way that it looks, we forget to feel how it feels. Good. Now we're going to lift ourselves up. Keep the hands behind the back. Pivot on the ball mound of the right foot. Face the back of your mat. We're going to head into Warrior 3. So a perfectly legit variation is to just start to come forward, right? You might be right here. You might just start to see about lifting the leg. What's that like? Maybe lifting it feels okay and you keep the hips level. When this right foot turns out, the hips probably aren't level. So we want to see if we can get a line from the head to the heart, to the hips, to the heel, all the H's. Notice what's happening on your balancing standing foot. So you can notice where you tend to lose balance. And if you acknowledge big toe ball mound, pinky toe ball mound, heel, where do you need to push a little bit more? All right, let's land that down. We're going to take it back to the front of the mat. So pivot on the feet. Turn the right foot forward, bend into the right knee, right elbow to quad, left arm overhead, side angle pose. Tendencies are to break at the wrist, break at the elbow, be hunched and rounded forward. You can use this left hand behind the head. You can use it to wrap around the ribs. You can hover this right elbow to make sure that you're engaging the back body. You can also notice like, okay, where am I using the most energy? And can I redistribute that? Amazing. Turn down, frame out the foot. Step the left foot up to meet the right. Roll yourself all the way up to stand. Find your prana mudra, thumb to ring and pinky. Take this moment to once again tune back into your desire. What is that feeling? Where do you feel it? Can you feel it now? Bring your hands down through heart center. You deserve it. You are worthy. This gets to be your creation of reality. And when we think of that, we want to think about our spirit leading the way, our spiritual reality. Inhale to reach the arms up high. Exhale to fold forward. Step the right foot back. Then let's rise up to our high crescent lunge. Feet are on separate tracks. Strong scissoring action. Left arm down. Side bend to the left. Back through center. Side bend to the right. Back through center. Hands meet at high prayer. Then we're going to turn along the long side of the mat. So turn your left foot in, your right foot towards the back of the mat. Meet the hands stacked upon one another at the low back. Start with level hips. From level hips, then we start to tilt the pelvis into our modified triangle pose. The gaze or the drishti technically goes up, but we want to make sure our head and neck is comfortable, so it could be down. It could be forward. You can experiment and explore. The practice is always yours. Good. Now we're going to lift and turn towards the back of the mat. So pivot on the ball mound of the left foot into our warrior 3 position. So you're going to start to lean forward. More weight goes into the right foot. I get light on my left foot, and then see about lifting. Continue to draw the armpits back towards the hip. Nice work. Land the ball mound of the left foot. Straighten the legs. Turn the feet. Turn the left foot back forward. Bend into the knee. Elbow to quad. Right arm overhead. Side angle pose. So again, check in. Where are you using the most energy? Can you redistribute it? So much of our practice is about recognizing where our energy is going. Is it where we want it to go? And we get to be the director of that. That's how we manifest. We put more energy into what it is that we want than what we don't want. All right, let's windmill the arms down from there. Step the left foot back to meet the right. So now we're in a high plank position. Let's hold for a moment in our high plank. Spread the fingers like you're trying to turn the eye of the elbow outwards or forward. So it's kind of like I'm spiraling my upper arm, drawing the armpits back, crown of the head forward. And then drop the knees. Sit back onto the heels, walk the hands back behind you, maybe lift the knees. Come on back forward, fall off onto one side. Extend the legs out in front. From there, knees stay bent, hands plant behind you. And then we're just gonna sit back so we find our sits bones. Lift the legs. So we're coming into Navasana or boat pose. This might be plenty of work. Remember, this is always a practice of finding that place where it's not too much, but it's more than enough. So I like to call it your Goldilocks. How much is enough? It's a good question. And then you might reach the arms forward. You might extend the legs. If you want a little bit more work, lower the left, lift. Lower the right, lift. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way down onto your back. Once you get there, hug your knees into your chest. Nice big squeeze. Set the feet down, heel toe them wide, arms out to a T or cactus arms, and then windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Heel toe the feet back together. We'll finish up the practice with an inversion. So that inversion might be legs up in the air. It might be supported legs in the air. So it could be hands underneath the bum, legs in the air. It could be block or pillow underneath the bum, legs in the air. It could be something like a shoulder stand. So if shoulder stands in your practice and you feel safe about doing it, what we're going to do is use the hands to lift. So I'm lifting my bum and then bringing my elbows in towards the midline and my hands to my low back. Once I've established that, I'm going to use the core body to lift the legs. And I'm seeing about stacking my hips over my shoulders. Now that might feel scary and you might keep your legs on an angle. Wherever you are with your legs in the air, spread your toes apart. Steady out the breath. Flex and point the feet. Good, now keep the toes pointed. Turn the heels in, toes out. Toes in, heels out, and then back and forth like that. Good. And now we're going to start to lower down. So if you're in that shoulder stand, you're going to want to bring your legs back overhead first. Then hands come down. Right now I'm using my core control to nice and slow lower one vertebra at a time. And we will come into our final rest, our Shavasana, our corpse pose. Legs are about mat's width distance, feet splayed out to the side, arms 6 inches off the sides of the body, palms face up. When you arrive here, find your prana mudra, your life force. The thumb comes to the ring and the pinky, the peace fingers are extended. feel the energy in your fingertips. And then feel yourself as the artist. Your fingertips are the paintbrush or the pencil or the pen. And you get to draw and create and manifest whatever life it is that you desire. Other people are going to have opinions, they're going to have judgments. It's not your job to change them, to fix them, to justify anything about your dreams. If it's in you, it's for you. If you're dreaming it, it's emerging out of you because it's part of what you are supposed to do here on this earth, and it's your job to listen. So as you lie here, see if you can drown yourself in the feeling that it is you want to feel, your chosen word. Smile to it. Find gratitude for it. And know that each and every day you get to feel more and more and more of whatever that is. And as you do that, find so much gratitude for getting to experience it with all of these working parts, with this temple of our body, with this digestive system that's working without me even directing it. I hope this was helpful. Please do this practice as many times a week as it feels helpful, and hit like, hit subscribe. I am here to yoga with you. It is always a blessing, honor, and privilege my heart sees and feels and smiles to yours. Namaste, yogis.